time into it too. So.
So. Well, so I know Kelly said she was gonna try and hop on. I don't know if that.
Yeah.
So.
She's got a big day.
Yeah, so exciting, right?
It's exciting. I know. I'm happy for her.
So should we just get started then? And
yeah. Yeah. We can just send it to Lindsay and Kelly.
Okay.
All right, I am here.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
Sorry, I was jumping out of the shower and.
You have a big, huge smile on your face.
I'm super excited. I can't believe it. I'm gonna, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna be baking.
No, you're good.
I've got some people coming over tonight. So.
Hey. Well, we're just barely getting started, so we haven't even talked about the first question yet. But it just says, so after you watch The Art of Asking, that's the Amanda Palmer speech. It said, meet with your group and discuss the different sort of person from most of you. But do you think she presents an interesting argument? Did you guys watch it?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was interesting. It was an interesting point of view from someone that looks at asking for things in a different way than most people do, you know, so that was cool.
Yeah. It's funny because I have a very, 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 very diverse group of friends. So I have a friend that lives the way she lives. He's a guy, but he just travels okay, so for example, he lives in California. He stayed with us last spring because he was riding his motorcycle down to the very tip of South America and then riding back up. And so one of his stops was here, and so he stayed for a couple of days. But that's what he was talking. He was talking about. Well, she called it couch surfing. He calls it something different, but where there's just a website that you can get on and just put, I'm looking for a couch to sleep on this day in this area, and people open up their homes. These people to let them do that. Anyhow, his stories were, incredible. I've never heard anything like it, So it makes me feel kind of boring, but I'm not brave enough to do anything like that. But so yeah, I think she had a different point of view, like what you said, in the way that she asks for things, but just also just a different point of view in the way she views life in general, and how trusting she is of everyone.
Yeah, I have a friend the same. She at least has calmed down a little now that she's been married, but she's been all over the world just sleeping on people's couches, and she's a female. I can see maybe a male being a little more trusting, but I would be nervous, but she loves it. She loves people. And I think that's what this woman, she didn't really, when she asked, she didn't expect anything from anyone. It was, if you can give it, I'm willing to take it kind of thing, because that's how she made her living. That's how she survived. And it makes you think about those people standing on the side of the road asking for money, What are can they get another job? People yelling out the window, get a job, whatever. But sometimes you're at your wit's end where you can't do anything else, I don't know.
Well, and I think hers was unique because she wasn't just out there begging for money. She was actually doing something, and I thought it was kind of cool how she was a statue, and I think that'd be kind of cool to see. So I thought at least she was, I don't know, doing something different and original. I don't know that to me, someone begging on the street is more like panhandling, and I don't know if that I would consider what she did that of panhandling, because she actually, I don't know. She what?
Well, yeah, you're more willing to give to the homeless man playing a guitar than you are just to someone holding something, you know, like he's giving you something in return, and she was giving them art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and too, it makes you think too when someone would give her money, she'd want to give them a flower, and how she really wanted to give them something, and some people wouldn't accept that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, New York City, you walk all over, and there's people doing stuff like that all over, you know? I mean, because they're all these starving actors and actresses that are trying to make money on the side, and they're trying to give of themselves how they know how, you know, and that's through art and music.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think it made me think more of how sometimes it's so hard to ask for help, but I just thought the way she did it was unique, and I don't know, it just made me think how it's okay to ask for help, and we need people. And there's that quote by President Monson that says we need to eliminate the weakness of one standing alone and substitute it instead for many working together. And it made me think about that. Even though her way was a little bit different and way outside of the box, I think we all need people no matter who we are. And she just has a unique way of that. Some of her presentation, I was like, my kids are like, kids, you know, don't look. This is my homework for BYU Idaho. I know how we talk about pornography,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, they're like drawing on her.
that was so weird. That was weird. I mean, I could see what she was trying to, you know.
Well, but a true artist really looks at their body as a work of art. You know what I mean?
I don't do it, yeah, the same way.
Anyway.
But one of the things I was going to say that when you were just talking about asking for help and that we all need somebody, one of the quotes that she said that I wrote down because I loved it was she said we need to learn how to give and receive fearlessly. And I think sometimes I loved that because we're always talking about giving, right? And even giving fearlessly is hard. Like when you think about relationships, it's hard to give yourself fearlessly to someone or to other because you don't know how they're going to take it or how they're going to accept it. And then same with receiving fearlessly, that's difficult as well. So I loved that she used both of those words and paired it with fearlessly because and obviously it resonates with me in a different way right now in my life. But anyhow, but I liked that.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Well, and she was very persuasive with all of it. I mean, I know when you're trying to sell something yourself, you have to be persuasive, and she sold herself and became really, you know, well known or whatever because of it. But also she sold, like Amy, you were saying, she did give something back. She wasn't just taking, you know, and not trying to give back. But very persuasive. Like everything she said to me makes you really understand the other side. You know what I mean? Like she talked about how hard it was to make it and what she had to do. And I really think that she made me want to go stand on a crate. No. Ask for money.
We'll be there.
If you see me in the center of Kaysville.
Stop by.
Well, I'm at the airport today.
Yes.
Should I do it at the airport?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like, my mom's lost her mind.
Well, I think the way she went about asking was that wasn't her lifestyle. It was a means to the end. It was so she could get somewhere. It wasn't just so that she could, I don't know, that I'm not quite sure if what I'm saying is making sense. But it wasn't like someone just standing on a street corner with a sign every day, and that's what they do all the time to make their living.
I thought it was interesting because she continued on, even though when she made it in the music world or whatever, she still sent the hat around. You know how the guy said, I feel like this is begging? You know, I mean, people had already paid for tickets, had already done all these things, unless, did she say it was a free concert? Or at that point it wasn't free? I can't remember, but she still was asking for more. So, like, I don't know. I think at that point it's a little bit much. I mean, because I mean, of course people want to help. You know how she said someone drove and gave her she tweeted about something and they were there in like 2 minutes with the product, the nurse or whatever. And that's fine, but I don't feel like you should like go beyond, like continue, you know, like take advantage. I don't know if that's take advantage, but
one thing that I thought was interesting about her and that I appreciated was her confidence in what she produces, and that she does feel like it's worth it. Like, we're both getting something out of this, and what I'm giving you is worth whatever you can give back to me. You know, and I've thought about that, you know, like, just like when I was married, and my ex-husband is a chiropractor, and so we were always kind of battling, like, what's fair and what's not for pricing and that kind of thing. And I was always like, we spent $150,000 on school. You know what I mean? So you're this. And he kind of felt like, well, I can just do it, you know. But I'm like, but you can't make a living if you just give it away, you know.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I just thought it was interesting. I mean, obviously she was giving it away at one point, but I just thought that she really valued what she did and thought it was worth. Okay, you can pay tickets, and I can ask you for more. You know.
And I'll sleep on your couch.
Right.
Which is totally fine.
Right.
I was just thinking, though, do you think what she was doing at the concert, do you think that's any different than when you go, like, to Cold Stone or somewhere where they ask for tips? Do you think it's kind of the same thing, or do you think it's different?
Because I don't usually tip when I don't know. I guess I feel, and you're right. You know, a waitress gets like this much money, and then her pay is how she performs, right?
Yeah.
Where Cold Stone, I mean, they sign the contract. This is what you will make, but I guess you can make more if you sing. I don't know. Is that the place that they sing?
Yes.
They still sing? But at least they're offering you something else, right? They're singing something else. I'm paying for my ice cream, and then I'm getting singing. So if it's good, I'll tip. So I guess that's the thing, is if they paid to go see her, and if she really gave them a great experience, then you feel like you want to give more. And so maybe she's just offering that, you know? So that's a good point.
Well, and I think, too, it's all about the intent behind it, too, because I felt from her speech that she was sincere in what she was doing, but I think there are people that would do that and take advantage. So I guess there's kind of a fine line there, like where you said passing around the hat after they'd already paid for tickets. Is that kind of taking advantage of people, or I don't know. It was just a unique way of how she presented it and what she does.
Well, she definitely made the comment when they were drawing on her, you know, and they were drunk Germans, right? At the point, at the end of a concert, they are all completely drunk. And so, of course, she is taking advantage of them just throwing more money, right? I don't know. I just, to each their own. But
right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because really, a great salesman knows his audience, right? Like our persuasive essay that we're supposed to write is we're supposed to get to their emotions. She completely got to their emotions through her music. And then, you know, what was the last one? Where they have to...
Oh, her
crowd
sharing, something like that?
What?
Are you talking about crowd sharing?
The ethos, the Largos, ethos,
whatever. Okay,
what are those three? The triangle? The ethos is emotion, right? Pathos. Pathos is the emotion. So what's the ethos?
like you use like a conference talk to prove your point, or an
Oh, you're proving your point.
Credibility, yeah.
Credibility. Okay, maybe that's not what that was, but she got to their emotion.
The pathos? Yeah.
Yeah, the pathos.
Yeah.
And then she was able to get even more. Which is a great, I mean,
right.
persuasive sales tactic, I guess.
Another thing that I thought that was cool too, that it doesn't really have to do with persuasion, but I thought it was so neat how when she did her first album and the label told her it wasn't good enough, she didn't quit. She kept going, and I admired that she didn't give up and she found a way to make it happen.
Well, I thought it was funny too that she was like, 25,000 is good.
Yeah, she's like, that's awesome.
Right.
Well, she definitely is someone that likes to connect with people, and so like even with her blog, she says she doesn't just write about the upcoming concert. She's writing about everything, and I'm sure she shared, and I think she said that she shared about her label how she didn't really like them and stuff, and she connected with people, and so people would just give her money, because she wasn't making it quite yet, but she connects with people, and so that's what, like, we have to find out how we can connect with someone in order to really persuade them to do something, because she is completely making her living by persuading people to do something, and she's using these things that we're learning. She's using the emotions and the the connections and everything. So anyway, and she's doing a great job. And I think she's really, really sincere about it. She really loves people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she wouldn't do what she does. She didn't like people, so yeah.
And wouldn't pose in her underwear if she didn't completely trust people or laugh at clothing.
Well, she might have been drunk too,
Probably.
All right. Anyway.
All right. Well, so for our next part, we're supposed to show each other our persuasive show and tell item, and why we chose it and why we think it's a good example of persuasion. Does it attempt to change an audience beliefs and actions? Does it do it successfully? Show where your item utilizes some of the persuasive principles we read about this.
Okay, so I'm not ready to give the persuasive speech.
Okay.
But I guess
I don't think we're supposed to do that. I think we're just supposed to, like, I just have a quote.
Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't have to go along with our speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, it doesn't have to be anything to do with the speech.
Right. You want me to go first?
Sure.
Let me find it really quick.
Okay.
Well, you guys might have seen it already.
Well, don't say it.
You guys been on Facebook?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to grab something too real quick.
Okay.
Is Kelly going to grab something? I've got something too.
Okay.
How about that part? Okay.
Okay. Oh, did we all leave?
Yeah, I had to grab something.
Okay.
Okay, well, I was just saying, were you guys on Facebook yesterday? Did you see what I posted about divorce?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, well then I can share it with you, because I was like, oh shoot, I'm friends with both of them on Facebook. Ruined what I was gonna do. So, okay, so yesterday my 6-year-old, before he went to school, drew this picture, and then he asked if he could hang it on the fridge. So obviously Dad, Mom, him, his older brothers. Okay, so I don't know if I can turn this around.
I can't hear you as well.
All right. On my fridge, there are pictures that my kids have drawn of our family, and it's all me and the boys. It's never had their dad in it. And so, anyhow, he drew one, and his dad's in it. And so I was like, of course, you can put it on the fridge. So anyhow, so this is what I wrote. So I said, this morning my son drew a picture of our family and asked if he could put it on the fridge. Obviously, it's a picture of our intact family, and noticeably missing is his stepmom and stepsisters. Eli was only 3 when his dad left, so he has very few memories of what it was like for us to all live together. But innately he knows this is how it's supposed to be. Ronald Reagan, a man who personally experienced divorce, was not the first governor to sign no-fault divorce into law. However, California was the first state to remove fault from divorce and change it to irreconcilable differences. Like Eli, his son Michael was only 3 when his parents got divorced. As an adult, Michael wrote a book and shared that his father later said signing the no-fault law was one of the worst mistakes he ever made in office. Michael, obviously an innocent victim in the disillusion of his parents' marriage, painfully offered this description of divorce. It's where 2 adults take everything that matters to a child, the child's home, family, security, sense of being loved and protected, and smash it all up, leave it in ruins on the floor, then walk out and leave the child to clean up the mess. Obviously, this description still resonates today regardless of who is at fault. Unfortunately, I'm 50% responsible for the mess my children have to clean up. I have to live with that reality every day, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. However, it also fuels my desire to strengthen, protect, and advocate for families. If I can help one family not to experience the heartbreak so many of us have and still do experience, the late night studying, the tears of frustration, the mental anguish, and the enormous financial strain of going back to school will all be worth it. So that's probably going to be
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
So you've heard a little bit of it, because that's probably where I'm going with it, is divorce reform, because it's something that we don't talk about a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that needs to change. So that's fine.
Well, it's happening more, more in the world. I mean, definitely. And so, yeah, that's great to make people, even just to, make people aware of what it does to children. I mean, and that's awesome. I mean, I can tell that you understand what it does to your children, and you're like, absolutely, you can hang that on the fridge,
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, you're such a good mom to let him do that and to be open about that too, because I think a lot of people in marriage and family science, who would you listen to more? People that are struggling with marriage, would you listen to someone who's struggled with that before, or someone that maybe hasn't? So I think that's powerful. I love that quote. What is that book called?
His book is called Twice Adopted.
Twice Adopted?
Twice Adopted.
And was it his Ronald Reagan that regretted doing that, or his son?
Ronald Reagan was the governor in California, and he wasn't the first governor to sign it. California was not the first state. It was one of the first, I would say, 5 to 10 states that passed no-fault divorce.
Oh, okay.
When he signed that into law, it was later that he said, that's the worst mistake I ever made in office.
Oh, okay.
That into law. So
that's interesting.
That is, I mean, it really is a big mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, Utah has a no fault, right?
Everyone does now.
Everyone?
Okay,
because I thought New Hampshire, they must have just got it, but.
Oh, well, maybe it doesn't. I was under the impression with things that I've read that it's nationwide, but there could be a few states that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just seems like one of my friends, her husband left, and no, his wife left, cheated on him, and he got the children. Where, you know, I mean, and I don't know, maybe that has nothing, is that what the no fault means?
No fault
Not
more.
necessarily.
So for like example for me, like same thing, right? My husband cheated on me, left me for the woman that he was cheating on me with. So my divorce ended up costing $350, which is great, and 4 hours, and we were basically divorced. I filed the paperwork the next day. We had to wait 90 days in the state of Utah. You have to wait 90 days. Then then returned the final paperwork, and it was done. So it was super easy for me to get divorced. Now, he didn't fight me on anything. He felt so
Yeah.
guilty about everything. He was like,
Well, that's the thing. You felt guilty. Yeah.
right, you can have whatever you want. However, the divorce to me was not, it was unilateral. He wanted it and I didn't. And my problem with it is, like, where no fault divorce comes into play, is it used to be you had to prove like abuse or an affair or something like that, and then I could have gotten way more financially.
Oh, yeah.
And now you can't. You don't fight it, and so there's not really any consequences.
Yeah.
There's no legal consequences, and there's no huge financial consequences if you don't like. It would be impossible. Like a judge right now wouldn't rule in favor of me because he had an affair or because he left. It would have to be other things. Does that make sense?
Yes. Now, the other thing is in New Hampshire, and I don't know if it's here, if you have been married less than 10 years, then you can't split 50-50. Is that like
Been married less than?
you have to have been married at least 10 years? Because I had another friend that his wife waited till 10 years and 1 month and then divorced him and got half of everything he had. But if it was before 10 years, then they just had to separate ways with whatever they brought into the relationship. Is that kind of how it is?
Well, that doesn't. Well, see, and then that in that situation, that leaves a lot of people. Yeah, like that needs to change because
Yeah.
that I can see the logic behind it somewhat, but that leaves. Let's just say, like, if we're in a typical situation, you get married. Let's say, you know, in your early 20s. In my case, support him, get him through school. Then he gets done with school. I'm left with nothing.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
you've done everything for him. You've put your whole career on hold, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
That should change too. So.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, like, if you don't mind me asking, because you said you felt like you were 50% responsible, but I mean, he's the one that left, and you're the one that wanted to work on things. So why? So I just am curious, how come you feel like you were, because 50%, responsible, because it seems like you didn't do anything.
Well, part of the reason why I put 50% is because I'm still really, 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 really tight with his family, and they're all on Facebook. And I don't ever want it to seem like that I'm some victim in this and that he did this to me. Because my 50% comes into play is I have 50% ownership in him and getting our marriage to the point where he left it. Does that make sense? I don't take ownership of his decision in cheating or in him ultimately leaving, but I do take ownership in that our marriage would be great. You know.
Yeah.
I needed to do some work on my end, and there was a lot of pride and a lot of things that I wasn't willing to budge on. I didn't know. It's all hindsight, right? I wish I would have done things different, but I didn't know at the time I was doing anything.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a lot of us are that way, though, but it doesn't, what I mean, I can see what you're saying, but to me, everybody has stuff they need to work on, and it doesn't mean they should go find someone else,
Yeah.
Anyway. But I think it's so important that you let your kids put that picture up, and you have a relationship with his family because you're making it a hard situation for your kids a lot easier just because of the way you handle it. So I just admire that, and I think you're such a good mom because I have a friend that's going through this same thing, and it's like, oh, it just is horrible because she just bashes their dad, and she's dating before she's even divorced, and I just think that is so confusing for the kids. So I just admire that because I think a lot of people get caught up in being bitter and upset and
well, and I can tell, Shannon, I can tell that you are really upset, but and it's probably taken you, I don't know how long you've been divorced, but you were probably really bitter, I'm sure. But yes, you have, I mean, just knowing you now, you want to do good for the world. And when we go through trials, and I'm sure when you were going through it, you were thinking, why is this happening to me? Look at what you can do for the world now. You know, I want to go to a trainer that knows what it's like to be fat. You know what I mean? You don't want to go to a trainer that has always been, you know. So I don't know. I mean, that's great that you can offer your experiences now to help others. And I think that's why we go through trials, right?
Well, and that's the thing. I was just telling one of my girlfriends last night. I was like, God works in mysterious ways, and I said, and I don't have any doubt in my mind that I know he didn't want this to happen. I know this. You know, people will say this is the plan or whatever, and this is not the plan. It goes against the plan. This is not what he wanted. But I do feel like he is helping me, like he's using it to do something.
To help others,
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously he would love that you guys would stay together, your kids were, you know, just wonderful, but yeah.
Right.
Well, that was great. Well, mine's not as
persuasive.
Well, I don't know. Mine is, and I think I'm going to do mine on this as well because I'm really into like fitness and stuff and everything. But I really, really believe what?
You're into what?
Fitness.
Fitness. Okay.
You know, nutrition, healthy living stuff. And I really, really believe though that everyone, whether you're, you know, any position that you're in, even if you're in a wheelchair, should train and complete a marathon. So this is my and they're very worn. But anyway, so that is my first choice. So. But there are so many great things about what you learn about yourself as you are training. The training is really the great thing about running a marathon. Is the training, if you can find a group, get together with them socially, you're sharing something, and you don't have to run it. Like I said, you can walk it. You can just doing something that's difficult though, and finishing it and being around others that have finished it. You know, like in the actual marathon, it is the most it's surreal. It's like it is such an amazing thing, and so that is my persuasive topic is everyone. So hopefully I can persuade you guys into doing marathon.
Is that what you're going to do your speech on?
What?
Is that what you're going to do your speech on?
Yes. Yeah.
Good, because I like the idea of running. I would really, and I think about that sometimes, and I'm like, yes, today I'm going to be a runner, and I'm going to work on it. And then I start, and I want to punch myself in the throat. So,
well, the starting, and this is what I told my daughter for years, and this will be kind of in my thing because all of a sudden she is like, she loves running so much she can't even believe it. But my daughter is 18 years old. She just turned 18. And she, every day, I would say, Natalie, I need a running partner. You need to get up. Let's do this together, right? She would look at me, and she would say, I am never going to be a runner, you know? And just over and over again until, like, I think it was her sophomore year, so 2 years ago. she all of a sudden just said, Mom, I'll try this running thing. And because she's done the same thing. She's tried, and it's so hard. Like, it's so hard to work up to 3 miles, and you think that you're going to die, and you can't talk. Because she always says, how can you talk? Because I'll come home from my long distance runs and stuff, and I'll say, oh, we talked about all this, blah, blah, you know, all this stuff. And she's like, how can you talk, you know, while you're running? And I'm like, Natalie, you get to a point where your body is used to it, and then all of a sudden you love it, you crave it, it's you in the road, you know, it's like, it's so amazing. But anyway, it's not even running, it's walking, it's, you know, anything you can do to complete that marathon, not biking, but anyway, you can't use a bike or a scooter. But anyway, so it was amazing. She is a completely different person just on how she can do, well, she's done a half marathon, and she's going to be doing a marathon with me in the fall. She wants to do it before she goes on her mission. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that's my persuasion. And everybody that I have said, you are going to run a marathon one day, you know, and people always say to me, I am never going to run a marathon. Mm-hmm. They do it, and they love it. And like you see the people on The Biggest Loser, they all do a marathon, and it's amazing. And they at the end, they're just like, I can't believe I just did this, something that I never, ever, ever thought I could, you know. And it's just like you with your going through your divorce. You've kind of done your own marathon with that, you know. I mean, there's marathons and different things, but if everybody can train and run a marathon, then it will help you with the other things in your life, and it will make it easier for you to accomplish those other things. But anyway, so there's my.
I think that's great, and I feel like I work out, I go to the gym every day, and so that's probably why I think, oh, I should be able to do this, because, you know, I feel like I'm in good shape for, you know, to be able to do it, and then I'm like, oh, my joints hurt, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt, like.
I know, and they will. My husband trained for a marathon in 18 weeks. He had never, ever, ever, ever ran. And I signed up for my first marathon, and he said, you are not doing this marathon without me. And because he's very competitive. And he started running, and he was 240 pounds, like at least 30 pounds overweight. What?
This was your husband?
My husband, yeah.
Okay.
And he's 6'3", but he was 240 at the time, and he just started going, and his joints, his shins, his feet, his ankles, everything hurt, and his whole marathon training was disaster. But every single time we went out for a run, he'd have to, take the ibuprofen or put stuff on his blisters, but he completed it. Like, it was teaching him how to do something so hard. You set that goal, and you are working to that goal no matter what. You know what I mean? And even by the time he got to the marathon, he had injured his calf, and he wasn't even going to do it. But he found a way, and you're like a marathon is 90% mental. It is completely mental, And like I said, you don't have to run the whole thing. You can walk. And there's many people. Like when I was running Boston, I ran it the year of the bombings.
Oh, wow.
I ran with bronchitis, and I had done I took 4 years to qualify for Boston, and just, you put everything into it. I finally qualify. I do the whole training for Boston. 2 weeks before Boston, I get bronchitis. I'm like, are you kidding me? But there is no way. I mean, there's a quote somewhere that says, nothing will get in the way of, a runner completing their race. And that's why that day was so sad, because so many dreams, not to even mention the people that were killed and injured, but so many dreams were just shattered that day because they had to stop at mile 25. You know what I mean? They weren't even able to complete that marathon that they worked. Some people worked 10 years to get there. You know what I mean? So those bombers took more than just the people that were injured. They took people's hopes and dreams away. It was such a huge disaster. But but they've come through it even stronger. Like all those marathon runners that didn't finish, they were able to come back and then finish the next year. Anyway, so that's my persuasive.
Did you finish, Kelly?
What?
Did you finish it? Were you able
Yes, I actually was one. I finished just 10 minutes before. I was standing on Boylston when it happened, so it was. But the tender mercy of God is that I had just reunited with my family, so I knew that we were all there together and safe. Because I tell you, and so many things happened to my husband that day where he just couldn't get to the finish line. Like, he tried everything to get to the finish line, and things kept happening. And at that point, he didn't know if I had finished or not or whatever, and they would have went to the finish line, you know, if we hadn't seen each other right then. And so I'm so grateful every day that they weren't at that finish line. You know, I mean, we were only half a mile away, maybe a quarter mile away, but they were far enough away where they didn't see. I mean, it was just horrible. But anyway, so that's a tender mercy that I was able to finish with bronchitis. And the whole time I was running, I just kept thinking, all I want to do is walk. And I wouldn't let myself walk. And if I would have walked, then I would have been, you know, either not finished or right in it. You know what I mean? So I just kept, it's the mind. I can't even believe how much control your mind has over hard things, you know? Anyway.
How many hours a week does it take to train for a marathon?
All right, so I have done a training plan where you only run 3 times a week. And it just, you know, the beginning plans they're not hard. Your long run is going to be like 3 hours. They don't want you to run any longer than 3 hours. But then the other 2 runs are like however long you want to make them, you know. But I mean, the long run is a 3 hour that you work yourself up to, and you only do 1 of those. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a, and I'll bring those into the point too, obviously, to show people that it's not really, and especially for someone that's only done 3 miles and they're like, how could I ever do 26? It's you add on slowly for over 18 to 20 weeks, and all of a sudden you're at 20 miles and you're like, how did I get here? You know what I mean? Because your mind says, I'm going to run 3.5 miles today, and then the next week your mind says, I'm going to run 5 miles today, and all of a sudden you're at 20 miles and you're like, I did it, and it's because your mind said you were going to. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's great.
Cool.
So,
hey,
Amy, you're up.
Yes. So mine is a quote too, and it's, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a quote by Elder Ballard, and it says, it's impossible to fail when you do your best and when you are on the Lord's errand. And I'm in the Stake Young Women's Presidency, and we do trainings a lot in wards for young women presidents. And I just always feel so bad for them because I feel like that would be such an overwhelming calling. And I like to help, you know, remind them that they won't fail if they're doing their best. So mine isn't as long or as profound, but I just love that quote because I think it relates to us in our lives. If we're trying and we're doing our best, then we can't fail. But that's not what my talk speech is about. I'm still trying to decide what I'm doing my speech on.
Well, that's great.
Will you read that quote one more time?
Yes. It is impossible to fail when you do your best and you are on the Lord's errand.
Okay.
Well, I love that quote because that totally just describes my daughter 100%.
Aww.
You know, being in Nicaragua, she went through some really hard things too. She had 2 parasites that set her back big time. They almost sent her home at one point. She's in like 108 degrees, high humidity, you know, just all the time. Cold showers. She has to wash everything by hand. You know, I mean, just completely different world. But she just kept saying, I'm here to serve the Lord. I'm here to better my future family. And it is. She could have failed, I guess. Not really failed, because she could have come home and she could have been fine because she, a dishonorable or honorable, dismissed, whatever it is anyway. But she was determined, and the Lord, and her final thing was she prayed to the Lord and said, "Do you need me here?" And all of a sudden, she was better, and it was such an amazing thing for her to learn to turn to the Lord, and she knew she was on that Lord's errand, and I love that. You will not fail. But
That's neat. What a neat thing.
so when you do your best, what was your quote? It is impossible to fail when you do your best.
And
you're
when,
on the Lord's.
and when you are on the Lord's errand. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that, because that made me want to be better and try harder too. That is exciting. I'm excited for you.
I know. She said the only thing she wants to do is go to the Salt Lake Temple tomorrow morning, because they don't have a temple, and that's where she wants to get married. She hasn't ever been to the Salt Lake Temple, and then she wants to go have something done at a spa. Like a facial. I'm like, absolutely.
Awesome.
That is cool.
So yeah.
Well, does she go to school, or what's her plan once she gets home?
Yeah, so she goes back. She went to BYU a year before she left, and so she'll go back in January. But she gets to be with us for 2 months almost. So.
That'll be nice. Perfect timing.
I know, and she also, when she went to BYU, we lived in New Hampshire, and that was so hard, So really, I haven't had her for 2.5 years, really, because she was only home for Christmas and then 6 weeks before our mission, and so it's like I just cannot wait to just get her back. And I know she's not ever going to be always by me, but she better be.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, so did we do everything on the...
Yeah, I think so. Let me just look really quick.
Next week she'll be here, and I'll introduce you to her.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think we got everything.
All right, and Shannon, thank you for your thoughts on that last one. It was very, very good.
That was good.
Yeah, I loved how you brought in all of that extra stuff. So thank you.
Yeah.
And we really missed you. We really missed you.
Yes.
Now, do we know what's going on with Lindsay?
I haven't heard from her. Have you guys?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'll be able to stay in our group.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, hopefully, yeah. So
did we decide Tuesdays then at 1:45? I can't remember.
I'm fine with that. If that's
Is that better?
Yeah, that's time on Tuesday, so whatever works for you guys. Did I get confused with the time? Because did you say you could do it any time before 11:30 on Wednesday or something?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
I can't do that. Yeah.
Okay, so Tuesdays at 1:45.
Yeah, because I get home from work Monday through Thursday at 1 o'clock. So that's
perfect. Okay, that sounds good. So next Tuesday at 1:45.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks, both of you.
All right.
Thanks. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, have a good week.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.